Hello, I'm Sue from Indigo, and I'd like to give you some information on how to transfer designs onto fabric. Most of us, when we start out with Sashiko, like to start with pre-printed fabrics. They have a stitch length, which is a designated stitch length, which is a pathway for you to follow and helps you to create a really nice end product. But then there are things that we'd like to do for ourselves. So you might like to get designs from Sashiko books, download some off the internet, be very wary of copyright, of course, but there's lots of different designs that you can get from Japanese books. Anywhere where you can get a lovely line drawing is perfect for a Sashiko design. So once you get your design, my suggestion would be to photocopy it. You can enlarge it, you can reduce it to the size that you want. My suggestion is to always keep your original copy and use that as a masterpiece, and then just use a photocopy. Quite often you will have paid a lot of money, well, a fair bit of money to get your designs, so always keep that original, and then you've got it in pristine condition. So then once you've got your photocopy, you then get your fabric, and I've got some plain fabric here today, and put it face right side up on a hard surface. Now, don't use surfaces that have a texture in them. It's really good to have something that's got a solid surface. I quite often use my kitchen bench. Today I'm using my cutting mat. So there's my piece of fabric, which is right side up. Then I've got a small design here that I'm going to tracing onto this fabric. So I'm going to position this piece of this design onto a fabric. And what I'm going to do, I could either put it to the side, if I wanted to center it, of course I would make sure it was centered and equidistant from the edge. Then I would then take a pin, and I'm going to put that in one side of the design. Now I've got tracing paper here. This is one that is a very reliable tracing paper. As you can see, I don't know if you can see it there, but I've actually used this one many times before. Use them over and over again, so they're not a one-off thing. So you'll get lots of drawings out of this. So then you put it chalk side down, so that's the right side, which is the chalk side, and you put it between your fabric and your design. So make sure it goes through the fabric, the tracing paper and the design. Now that's all ready to go. Then you can use a stylus. I don't use a stylus, I use a ballpoint pen, mainly because I can see where I've been. So then I'm very firmly going to trace over my entire design, pressing very firmly on the stitch length there. Now, if you don't have stitch length, by all means, just trace a single line and you can do your own stitch length. So that's how you do it. It's just like using the old carbon paper. I've done one earlier today. Now, best advice I can give you is before you take that tracing off or the design off, always double check to make sure that you have traced your entire design onto your fabric before you take your design off. And there's my design there ready for stitching. Now, so you can see that there. It will stay there until you stitch it. The only reason it may fade is the oils in your hands may, when you're stitching it, may make it fade. You need a ceramic pencil, and as you can see, that will then freshen up your lines. That's a really nice way of tracing your own designs onto your fabrics.